Larson spins not once but twice and gives Hamlin the winning formula to win at Darlington. More about that, no backflips, coming right up. Welcome everybody to the 645 show for the I don't know how many weeks we've been doing this, but it's been trucking along. I am one of your hosts, driving the number 45 non-typical designs for iRacing and Mystic Racing League, and then right beside me that beautiful handsome devil wearing his Brad Keselowski. Oh, I was talking about
Other way.
Connor. I was talking about
Oh,
I was talking about Connor.
yeah.
Conor
He
McGregor,
is handsome, ain't he?
the
Connor
notorious
the goldfish.
notorious goldfish. But no, it's sitting in the Fanatec. Is it Fanatec? I don't know. Anyway,
Uh, yeah. Anyway.
anyway,
I don't-
Aaron Baum. How you doing, man? I know you're
uh,
heartbroken as well as I am.
yeah. That as a Brad guy, that race kind of blew. We'll touch more on that, but I'm doing all right. Otherwise, can't complain. Just same old over here. Looking forward to race weekends. Driver of the number 99 non-typical designs Ford Mustang, and iRacing and the Mystic Racing League, by the way. Shout out to Colton Loomis for that. But how was your week, man? How was your race in Mystic before we get into real life stuff?
Yeah, so we're changing things up. We're going to focus more on NASCAR stuff. We'll talk a little bit about a little bit about iRacing and a little bit about the Mystic Racing League, and then full on just NASCAR stuff, all the NASCAR news and everything. We have a Twitter now, the 645 show, so follow us on there. I'm kind of slacking on the Spotify stuff. It just work has been really really crazy, but um, racing has been good. We had a race at for the Mystic Racing League National Series. I was trying to figure out what it was called, but the National Series at Texas. You and I put a lot of sim work in, and I think it paid off. The finish doesn't show it, but it paid off. We won a stage, got some stage points. I'm still waiting for the points to be updated to see where we are in points, but we finished 10th. I think we had the right formula to get a win, if not like worse podium finish. So, but how was your Friday night race?
Yeah, so just seconding your the notion of just the sim work was just really quality what we put in. Just proud of you as a driver development in terms of as this show goes on, people can go back and watch previous streams and people that have been friends with us for a long time who watch the stream since day one and watch our show now, they can see a night and day difference in your driving abilities, which is really cool. So that was just fun to watch as a friend and as a coach in this. It was just cool to see. Um, but yeah, Friday was all right. We had speed, then qualified in the top five. Next gens are kind of hard to figure out with how much brake to use, because you're going to be downshifting and all kinds of stuff. So kind of feeling that out as the dirty air goes on, and had a good race. It was fun. Had a couple hiccups, sped coming down pit road, and went a couple laps down. Self-inflicted wound. Just hadn't practiced coming down pit road at speed. I never really do. I always try to kind of just feel it out and trust that I know what I'm doing. And just I got too close and locked up and panicked, and so I was self-inflicted. So anything that comes to or from a mistake like that, it's almost like a fork in the road. Like you almost create a fork in the road for yourself at certain races. Like everything's fine, you're on a trajectory to do well, and you have a mess up, and all of a sudden your universe is split. And anything that could have gone well, you'll never know what would have happened. But caught our way back. Got a couple lucky breaks in terms of people getting involved in lucky dog incidents and stuff. So I forgot where we finished. I really don't remember, but I had a good time. I remember I was just frustrated because I felt like similar to you. I felt like we had speed to win.
Yeah, you finished seventh.
That's right.
The one thing, there's two things I want to touch on before we get into the NASCAR weekend and all the stuff that was leading up to it. So your speeding penalty happened really early in the race, and you were having the Derek syndrome of oh, my race is done. Might as well just give up now. I'm like, dude, we still got like 90 laps left. Sure, we're 2 laps down, but things can happen. And sure enough, things happened, and you were back on the lead lap within 20 laps, maybe less. So you still had a long race left after you got your laps back, and then. Similar situation towards the end of my race and then his race as well. Late caution. Do you pit? Do you not pit? Do you pit? Do you not pit? With my race, we should have pitted. Looking at it, I mean, it's easier to say it now than in the moment. But if I was sitting in the seat today and seeing how the race played out, leading up to that caution, I would have pitted just because of how much green flag runs we had leading up, and getting rid of the guys that were wrecking every single minute. With Aaron's case, it was a harder decision. It was a 50-50 shot of like, do we pit and then get caught up in a wreck, or do we not pit and hope to God there's like 15 cautions like it's been. And sure enough, the one time that we stay out, no caution. So, but pretty awesome. Hey, you fought all night. You fought with those guys that had fresher tires, and you finished 7th compared to finishing 20th. So, chin up, Buttercup.
Yeah, it's true. It's just that's just the reality of league racing, right? Is like there is no racing. One, and you can't really hop into another race in an hour, right? Like that's the thing with leagues. It's that event is that event, and once you make a mistake, or once you kind of make your bed like that, and tying into the race this weekend with tires mattering that much, crazy how much tires were mattering, which is awesome. I'm not sure, it's like that famous "Why are you surprised, Dion?" It's like, well, we haven't seen tire wear and handling matter in kind of a long time. So I think there was we ran like 8 green flag laps on those tires. It was like the warm-up lap and then 8 green flag, and everybody came in. Even like the guy directly behind me came in. I was like, really? Like everyone's taking 4 tires here. That's insane. And I try to go as early in the box as I could. I try to just create as much milliseconds of gap as I could, and they eventually just ran me down. And I appreciated how everyone raced me hard and clean. There was guys that raced me hard and were side drafting in the corners that I didn't think had the talent to not hit me, and they drove me hard. So shout out to those guys doing a good thing. And yeah, I had a fun time. Disappointed because I feel like I had speed to win as you did. So it kind of that sucks as a competitor.
Yeah, we got Rockingham next week for the Mystic Racing League for the truck and the National Series. No cup race, so Aaron's going to either have to run a truck or a National Series, or just take another a week off. So we'll be in the sim in the lab. I'm working 6 days this week, so I'm not looking forward to getting my butt whooped at work and then coming home and getting my butt whooped by Aaron. Moving into real life NASCAR stuff, if you're ready for that, partner.
Yeah, let's transition this weekend.
All right, so the first thing I want to talk about was the Dale Jr. versus Lamar Jackson lawsuit.
Oh man!
So
oh my God!
So Dale Jr. He ended up getting his license to race the slanted 8 per Miss Teresa not having the. Sorry, my phone is acting weird. Not having, doing the copyright or the trademark or whatever it was. Dale Jr. went and bought it. He now legally owns the slanted 8. However, Lamar Jackson, I guess, didn't really pay attention to it and was like, oh, well, Dale Jr.'s trying to get money off of me. And that's not the case. He's just getting money off of what he made famous back in 2000, was it 2000 was his first year? Yeah, 2000 was his first year. So he had the slanted 8 since 2000. You know what Lamar Jackson was doing in 2000?
Sucking on his mom's nips.
Exactly. Okay, I know you don't like Lamar Jackson. I like Lamar Jackson, not so much now because of, whatever, but he so there's a lawsuit going on. I think Junior's gonna win it. I mean, he's like, hey, look, I just want the slanted eight. That's it. Like he can have whatever font, whatever size, whatever eight he wants, besides the slanted eight that I made famous since 2000. So
That's iconic. If you see that tattooed on somebody's arm without any other words of Dale Jr. or anything, you know who that's for. It's not even the same Ravens 8 font. I'm not sure why it's even a topic of debate. They're completely separate. It's like the Josh Allen Bill 17 and the Chris Buescher 17. They're completely different. So I appreciate NASCAR being put into the media pool, though. I appreciate some drama, kicking some stuff up. I saw some funny memes on the NASCAR community come out. Um, I saw one that was like Junior when he won the 500 at the 8 car. He goes, "Man, look at that Lamar Jackson." Like there was just some really funny stuff that came out of it. It was cool to see the NASCAR community come together and kind of stick up for our boy. But yeah, just interesting stuff. That should be a slam dunk win from my understanding in terms of like the court case.
yeah. One thing about Darlington, it brings out throwback paint schemes, which I love. I love the weekend of, or leading up to the weekend of, who's driving what, who's paying homage to who is driving what scheme, and respecting this person. But however, Chase Elliott says that throwbacks are becoming a dead beat horse race, meaning that here in a couple years we will be paying respect and doing a throwback to Chase Elliott when he started in 2018, 2017.
Right.
I don't agree with that. And I think the reason why he's saying this is my theory, this is the reason why he's saying this, is because he got so much backlash on that horrible paint scheme, he was trying to
Yeah,
cover his own ass.
I agree.
I love it. I love the throwbacks. There was not a lot this year, or for this race, I should say. Obviously, probably the best one was Kyle Larson's, unfortunately, because I am not a Kyle Larson fan. But I mean, you can't go wrong with Tony the Tiger and just the colors. I love the orange and blue. So, what was
Yeah.
your favorite?
Oh man, I really like Cindrix too. That was cool. I know we've seen renditions of that before, but that's always just cool. Um, I liked some of the Xfinity ones, to keep it honest with you. There was the one car that looked like Jimmy McMurray's Tracker Boats one. I saw the Nesquik chocolate milk once again, that yellow and contrasting chocolate milk. I love it too, man. I'm with you. I think Chase Elliott is looking at it from like a selfish, narcissistic perspective because Husky and Kyle Busch said the same thing, where they're like, it's not for the drivers, it's for the fans. It's for the experience, the atmosphere. It's something different. Darlington is the reason it shaped how it is for those NASCAR fans that don't know, and if you do, I know you love hearing the story. Turns one and two, they bought the property. Okay, turns one and two were supposed to look just like turns three and four, except turns three and four, the property was owned by a farmer who had a minnow farm, like a little pond out there. And they said, we not move my minnow farm. So they said, okay, well, we'll just make it a tighter corner in turns three and four, not infringe upon your minnow farm. So just stories like that, right? Like I live in a small town myself. I used to live in Orlando. Just small town atmospheres are awesome. Putting the throwback stuff in is really cool. Even though Brad didn't do a throwback this year, I don't think any of the RFK guys did. It's. I want to make a couple points. One being, why can't we reuse the same throwback a couple times? If one is that damn good, why can't we just have the two be the route that number two car, or the three be the Dale Earnhardt three? Every throwback. It just, who's to say we can't do that? We don't have to get unbelievably creative. A Christopher Bell's third grade teacher had a car that looked like we're getting crazy creative, which I'm cool with. Pay as many homage to the grassroots as you can. That is cool for those people that are still alive that can appreciate that. I see where Chase Elliott's coming from though, because in terms of the marketing, where it's what paint scheme hasn't been done yet, it's like, okay, so chronologically, you go back in time, people had the same fucking sponsor for like 10 years in a row. So okay, the car's gonna look the fucking same. Now you have changing sponsors every other week, so it's like you kind of have a lot less what's iconic, right? Like the 24 Jeff Gordon Exalta scheme on William Byron today, I really like, because I remember seeing that car race. And I was getting into my NASCAR, adolescence. So I see the point he's making, but it kind of is moot when you come to realize, one, it's not for the drivers. Two, who's to say you can't reuse the same paint schemes over and over again? I know people would love to see Kyle Larson again in that Tiger car, or again in that Kellogg's Cornflakes Terry Labonte 5. I know for sure people would. That stuff would sell out every freaking year. So I love it. I think it's awesome seeing those guys go around the track and almost having to think like, what car is that? Oh, okay, that's right, that's this guy, because it's not as identifiable, when it's their normal sponsorship.
Yeah, and our sponsor, Non-Typical Designs, me and him talked about doing a throwback, and it kind of just happened really organically. Of who's his favorite driver, who's my favorite driver. We kind of trying to figure out and kind of mush everything together. And I was like, man, it would be badass to drive at Rockingham in the Mystic Racing League for the National Series, Martinsville, and Darlington do the Gray Ghost, and I'm racing that this coming week. I love that. Junior drove it a couple times. That's the reason why I liked it. Buddy Baker ended up driving it, made it. And that was the reason why it was made famous. But I love it. I love the paint schemes. Speaking of paint schemes, Carson Hocevar goes on Facebook Marketplace, buys a vintage truck color schemed as Dale Senior's number 3. Were you able to see that or not?
I heard him talk about it. I heard his interview. He was like, "Yeah, just went down and got it. That's like my daily driver." Like that's just cool. Like I know people can say what they want about Earnhardt stuff, but like that's cool for the brand.
Yeah, it gave me Cletus McFarlane vibes.
Yeah, that's a lot of us found out Cletus was that the Dale truck chronologue.
Yeah, I love it. I don't like Carson Hocevar. I don't think he's the greatest person on earth. But it was pretty cool. Moving on to the actual race weekend. No trucks this week. It was only Xfinity and Cup. Sammy Smith penalty. We talked about this on our social media. Sammy Smith last week. I mean, blatantly obvious. It was intentional. He ran over the 54 from 8 car lengths back. Wrecked him, wrecked the 54, and several others. Gave Austin Hill the advantage to win on the last lap in turn 3 and 4. Sammy Smith was penalized a handful of points. Dale Jr. and Junior Motorsports were fined, I think, $25,000 because of it. Sammy Smith came out yesterday or 2 days ago saying that he wished that he could take it back, was very, very apologetic. And just listening to all the podcasts, Door Bumper Clear, Dale Jr. Download, Ashton Dinner Mineral, just everybody saying he screwed up. Like there's no way around it. He screwed up, and it was quite interesting. I was more interested to hear what Dale Jr. was gonna say, and just saying, hey, look, like you're a great driver. You have the talent. A lot of people don't like you because you are like Austin Dillon and Ty Dillon, and were spoon-fed and raised with a silver spoon in your mouth because his parents have the money and financially it was able to get him to where he is now. A lot of people don't like him because of that. It's not the grassroots that most of these people like Tyler Reddick and Josh Berry and so on and so forth went through. But to hear Dale Jr. kind of like, hey, like you need to get your shit together. And hearing people want him parked and wanted him fired kind of was weird to me, because if I am not mistaken, when Austin Dillon wrecked, was it Logano? I think it was Logano and Hamlin. I know he wrecked Hamlin, but I think it's Logano.
Yeah, I think it was Logano.
At Richmond, not one person was like, oh, this person needs fired. This person needs to be, kicked out of his ride. It was more of, yeah, I mean, he needs to be suspended. And then there was people saying, oh, he didn't do anything wrong. He doesn't need to be suspended. He doesn't need to be fined. I was like,
It was kind of split. It was a kind of a perfect controversy where, like, if you hate Logano and Hamlin, you're kind of like, fuck it, that 3 is back, man. Do it for Dale. And then if you're a Logano fan or a Hamlin guy, it's like, this guy's a reckless lunatic. So it was like a perfect controversy in terms of like NASCAR drama, I reckon. But yeah, like Sammy Smith had just, you can see where the tunnel vision would come from. He has to clear the guy below him. So he sends it to not only clear the guy below him, but also punt the guy out the way, go for a twofer. And he came in about, I don't know, 20 miles an hour too hot. So it's like, hey man, you can do that, but try to maybe about 3 miles an hour hot. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so the fine, learning moment for him. I think I think bad guys, and you know this as a fan of WWE, like heels are just as good as superheroes. Like people love to hate Kyle Busch, and when Kyle Busch stopped being so dominant, who hated him were kind of like, man, I kind of miss Kyle Busch. Like it's like they don't know that they need a bad guy in their life. So part of me kind of wanted Sammy Smith to embrace it a little bit. Like, yeah, he would have done it to me, and he kind of did in his post race interview, which I was kind of cool with. Um, yeah, I think he'll learn. Junior take it, kind of this, hey, dumbass. I know Junior has plenty of those, hey, dumbass moments where somebody older than him, taught him right from wrong. So, yeah, just we'll keep an eye on that though. We'll keep an eye on if that changes how he races. You've heard stories of people getting penalized and it changes how you think and the decisions you make. Like in just real time, it does. You don't want to get in trouble or be viewed as a reckless guy because Hocevar is now just deemed as a loose cannon reckless guy, and it might have just been a couple bad wrong place, wrong time moves on top of maybe one intentional. So it's like looks like you have a crazy catalog of being a reckless guy. So your mantra can kind of get made really quickly. So we'll see if he changes his aggressiveness or if he just tampers it down.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up the WWE stuff because growing up, I always liked the bad guys. I always liked Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, Stone Cold. You so in the Xfinity Series, Brandon Jones secured a significant victory, ending a 98 race winless streak. Driving the number 20 Joe Gibbs Toyota, Jones took the lead with 12 laps remaining, maintained his position to clinch the win. I wanted to throw this in here. Justin Allgaier continued his consistent from a third place finish with the number 7 Junior Motorsports Chevrolet, making his 5th consecutive top 5 result. Ross Chastain and Carson Quaffle completed the top 5, finishing 4th and 5th respectively. Yeah, I mean, Brandon Jones, obviously he was with Joe Gibbs Racing, moved to Junior Motorsports. I thought that was a great idea for him to go from, I mean, when you think the Xfinity Series, Junior Motorsports is number 1 and Joe Gibbs Racing is number 2. Like, those are the two top teams that to race for in the Xfinity Series. There's not a lot more. I mean, I was going to say Kellogg. Help me out here, partner. Colleague Racing.
A colleague, yeah.
Okay. Fucking. Thanks, partner.
I was gonna let you get it.
But yeah, I mean, Junior Motorsports and Joe Gibbs Racing. Brandon Jones being on both sides. And now he goes and almost 100 races without winning. So that's crazy. But yeah, Justin
Allgaier.
Allgaier.
Same team that Almirola races on.
Yeah. So he does the 19, or the whatever it is, the 20 or the 19, something like that. But yeah, Almirola will come back and forth. But yeah, I mean, Justin Allgaier just again showing why he's the veteran, why he's the champion, and continuing this hot streak. So were you able to catch it or any of the highlights?
I was able to catch some highlights of the 17 getting into it with, I think was it Chase? Yeah, it's them getting into it. So I just saw some highlights and I heard a little bit about it. I know Brandon Jones. People were kind of calling for his head for a long time. They're kind of like, geez, this guy is a dud. This guy blows. You heard a lot of Brandon Jones slander. Um, so that's good that he got kind of a monkey off his back at a tough racetrack. Uh, Racing's really good. Almirola probably put some really good data into that car. You see Almirola on the pit box when he's not in the car, putting information and texting the war room and all kinds of things. They have a really just super solid program over there. So that's really cool that he's now like kind of able to ride the momentum of just that as opposed to him just trying to figure out his own data and trying to do it as hard, the old fashioned way. So it's cool that Almirola is still a part of that program because you can see the difference it's made. Because Jones was on that team to begin with and sucked, and the Supra sucked, and Toyota sucked a couple years ago when the Supra first came out as the car for that, and then all of a sudden they've become, like you said, a powerhouse team. So one thing I want to point out too on behalf of Allgaier is it's really cool to have the Xfinity Series have veterans in it that are holding it down. Because it would really suck if it was just a young guy's series, like the Truck Series and ARCA Series. Like ARCA is a real young series. So it's cool that if you want the kind of racing you and me grew up on, that generation body with that kind of racing, and how you can have the door to door stuff and not get arrow tight or whatever. Like, it's cool that there is a veteran base in Xfinity that does well. The Siegs do well every now and again, and Allgaier's just holding it down for the veterans, which is really cool.
And I was curious on how the drivers' meetings went for that Saturday race based on what happened last week. I seriously think that they need to start parking people for a certain amount of laps for driving aggressive, because I bring it up because like you have that finish between Bell, Reddick, and Bush at Coda, where they were driving really hard, they were driving really aggressive, but they never touched, you know. But then you go to the Xfinity series where I'm gonna wreck you and I'm gonna wreck your grandmother to win a race. So, do you think that they need to start like looking into? I mean, Dale Jr. even said that he'll be up in the booth pressing a button if he needs to penalize people, and I think it needs to be like that. You either penalize them and park them for a race, or not a race, but for a lap or 2 laps for being very aggressive, or if you and I wreck each other and you're mad at me and you come and try to fight me, let's fight. Like, I am 100% okay with that. Don't let, like, hockey terms, bitch. Like, let's go. Like, first person to get down, then it's over. But I just, something needs to be changed with these younger series. Like the truck series, like you said, it's a young series too. I mean, Matt Crafton was in there for centuries. I mean, he only won one championship, I think. I don't really know, but anyway, he was there for forever and never left. So, what do you think? What do you think they need to do with these like lower series of getting these drivers? Because the Daytona race for the ARCA race was horrible. I mean, there hasn't been really a bad truck race, but the Xfinity series and ARCA series need to get it together, because this is just, it's getting out of hand.
I agree with you, partner. And it's one of those things where I think penalties need to be like either you embrace the novelty of wrecking and you embrace the novelty of drama and pit road punches and you embrace that aspect and you make that's how you get your viewership, right? People will watch Sundays no matter what. But people are trying to make a name for themselves in Xfinity series, and how do you do that besides winning? Even people that win in Xfinity, it kind of, all right, whatever, back page in the news type shit. So in a way, it's good for Xfinity, this sport, because I'm more tuned in to see what if Sammy Smith runs over somebody again, or if Austin Hill wants to punch somebody, or if Sheldon Creed's going to get a win. But I also understand the terms of longevity and wanting to come back. My uncle texted me, he watched the ARCA race or the Xfinity race 2 3 weeks ago, and it was really bad. When it might not have been Martinsville, but it was a couple weeks before it, and it was just awful. This absolute wreck fest. And he's like, "What is this?" And I kind of had to defend NASCAR a little bit over text message, like, it's just how this track is. It's known for. I forgot exactly where it was, but um, so I think you need to have penalties, right? Because after a while, you will lose any sense of anything. Once talent gets shoved aside for just getting wrecked out the way, then you've lost your sport. Because you see it all the time where whoever dominates the day gets wrecked with 2 to go, and it's like, well, why are we all here then? What's the point of this? So I think penalties need to be really hammered down, because then we'll reinstitute the art of passing clean and racing hard. And yeah, Rubbin's racing, but not punting from 8 car lengths back. So I think it'll make guys think twice. The art form of racing, those cars still have that ability to race beautifully side by side at any given racetrack. So let's not take that away. Something maybe needs to change with the green white checker thing. Maybe incentivize it not to just be, all right, we can have 1,000 green white checkers. So if you're 20th place, just run over everybody, and you'll eventually shuffle your way to ninth. Maybe do something along those lines, or just flat out penalty. Like, hey, we saw what you did. You're done. People will start to think twice. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah, that was one thing that I do not like, people bringing up the green white checkered. I do not like having a limit on green white checkers. I do not like that. Give them as many unlimited chances, because here's the reason why. I will go back to the Talladega race 1000% every single time. Junior and Logano were racing for the win. Harvick, who had a broken car in the first place, had a blown motor or blown transmission, something, and NASCAR knew about it, and then they restarted the race. Harvick obviously creates a big pile up, big crash before they even can get to turn 1 and 2, and Logano beats Junior by a splitter, and Junior's out of the playoffs. I don't like that. Because also then you look at it like, oh, I have 1 in 3 chances to gain 15 spots. I'm gonna run through anybody and everybody through these 3 cautions. Like, absolutely no. Like, they need to have it unlimited, and they need to start penalizing people. If that's parking them for the race, parking them for a certain amount of laps, then that's it. And you also mentioned that they need to get better. You know who doesn't need to get better?
Who's that, partner?
Non-Typical Designs. As always, this episode of the 645 Show is brought to you by Non-Typical Designs, your one-stop shop for custom racing graphics, wraps, and sim racing liveries. Whether you're tearing it up on track in real life or dominating the virtual world of iRacing, Non-Typical Designs has you covered with top-tier designs that make you stand out from the competition. From wild color schemes to slick professional looks, they do it all. And the best part is affordable pricing and unmatched attention to detail. So if you want to look fast standing still, check out Non-Typical Designs today. Find them on social media, Twitter or X at Non-Typical Designs. That is at NONTYP Design. Tell them the 645 Show sent you, and get that beautiful paint scheme as you see on your screen or listening, one of the two. That's it. You want to throw in anything? No?
They're really good, and I think you should do them because Colton Lewis does a great job. Like you said, attention to detail is amazing. Anything you want, he can design it and make it look awesome on a race car. So hit up Non-Typical Designs for anything you need on iRacing.
Yeah, and I'm actually really excited. I'll have more information about it. Me and Colton and Aaron, we all love the band Nothing More, and Nothing More is doing a collab with a great organization, K9 for Warriors, who help veterans, victims, firefighters, military, anything and everything with PTSD. And then they're also going and helping these dogs or puppies, rather, if they're strays, if they're being abused, not being adopted from shelters. They're working with them and training them the right stuff that they need to do hand in hand, so therefore they can be adopted and give service to these guys and gals that have PTSD and just need a companion. I have a dog. I got him through COVID. I was going through a really bad breakup. I needed something to kind of just get me out of bed, because it just was getting to that point where, granted, I didn't have any PTSD. I didn't have anything traumatic besides a really bad breakup and obviously COVID shutting down everything. So I needed something to get me out of bed and everything. So I went and adopted a puppy, and he has been a pain in my ass for the long. No, I'm kidding. Talik has been amazing dog, and me and Colton are working on making a non-typical designs, Nothing More / K9 for Warriors. We're gonna have Talik, my dog, on the car, which is pretty cool. And then we're also going to be doing a raffle, and we'll have more information on that when we finalize everything. We're still working on it, but as of right now, the paint scheme is looking really good. He's sending me some photos and everything. So, but I can't wait. And I was actually talking to my family and my friends that would be really cool if I got my first ever victory with my dog with my dog on the side of the car. That would be awesome. So, but yeah, that's really cool. So we'll talk about the Cup race. William Byron wins the pole, wins stage 1, wins stage 2. Kind of unforgettable stage 1 and stage 2, besides Kyle Larson spinning himself out.
That was surprising.
That
was wild to see.
He's the greatest thing since, Jesus walked on water. So,
and for him just to take a fractured line and just get loose on his own. Kind of crazy. I want to shout out something before I forget, and it's a mixture of a shout out and a props, but also how the hell to Ty Dillon in the 10 car being as fast as that thing is. Have you paid attention to Ty Dillon's runs this year? Dude, watching the broadcast, they'll never mention him. They'll never talk about him, but he'll be running eighth. And it's like, how the fuck? Like, who are they partnered with? Who do they have data from? I don't know who the 10 car is getting stuff
RCR.
from. They are the best running RCR team on fucking track because the 10 is unbelievable. He qualifies well. They'll never talk about. I listen to MRN if I work on Saturdays and don't get a chance to watch qualifying, and they are just oh ho hum. Ty Dillon, runs in so and so lap, and then on the next guy, and you go back and look, and you're like, he ran a pretty good lap. Like what the heck? So shout out to Ty Dillon. That is just insane of what they're doing with that car that no one's heard of. And Justin Haley, you're getting these weird guys that are popping up, and like the 38, Gilliland, and the 34. You're getting these cars that are like, how the hell are you in the top 10? Like it's as a Brad fan, I'm like, damn, what the hell? Like it kind of makes you question some stuff. But yeah, stage one, Byron just there's no what's the age old saying? There's no adjustment better than clean air. And that's something that we feel all the time in iRacing, especially in the fixed series where everybody has the same thing. And it's like, even if you know you're better than that guy in front of you, you can't do a damn thing about it, especially with how these cars are. So he ran out just a massive lead, able to manage his tires. Kudos, that's the benefit you get from winning the pole. I mean, it's just kind of you reap what you sow. So good on them. Um, but yeah, stage one and two, pretty pretty boring. Like it's kind of hard to say, right? Because I want to get your thoughts on this. I was watching the broadcast, and there seemed to be some passing every now and again, like very towards the end of the run, right? Like the last 20 laps of a run, there was some kind of passing. But at the grand scheme, it was a lot of single file racing, and you saw cars handling funky. You see a car unload off the corner, kind of waggle, but never really lose speed. Like I was watching Brad's in car, and he mentioned Blaney under one of the cautions. He goes, Blaney was just as loose as I was on exit, but his center was unbelievable. And he goes, I watched it. You guys got even looser than I was in the exit, but I never was able to gain. He never lost the drive. So it's just very interesting how these cars drive, man. Like I'm learning new things about them all the time, which is like, hey, sometimes just instead of babying the right rear, just keeping it mashed is the ticket for some reason, diffuser wise. Keeps it. It's just weird. I don't like it. Darlington was a good race for me in terms of handling was a challenge. Tires were a challenge. That's about it. Like I don't know. That was kind of a I was kind of I'm torn as a purist who wants handling and I want tire wear, but these cars just don't react how they should. I don't know. What are your thoughts on all that?
Yeah, I mean, we complain about the downforce, the low horsepower, everything, every single week, every single season, ever since these next gen cars came on. So they still need to work on the aerodynamics. They still need to work on the underbody because when you get to these tracks that it's hard to pass, it makes it even harder to pass with the body of the car and the aerodynamics of it. Watching, I finally got HBO Max again. Watching Reddick tear through the field on fresher tires was just amazing. I was are you gonna make? Oh my god, you're gonna make this pass! Like people were diving it down underneath the hash marks, where like it would basically be the apron in any other track, but diving it down, riding on the apron and sliding back up. I'm like, oh, don't kill yourself, please. Um, Another thing, RFK was looking really, really good until Brad Keselowski had to serve a penalty. Went 3 laps down because he lost the tire, lost the lug nut, one of the
Yeah,
two.
tire never came off. Lug nut popped off and was rolling, and the tire stayed on the spindle, but it was like wobbling on the spindle. And he ended up self spinning. Drove his absolute ass off to keep it off the wall though. Like he went into the corner, it loaded. All of a sudden, I see and somehow just didn't get any damage from it. But in terms of what it did for the timing and scoring, was like it put us 3 laps down, and that kind of blew. But so as an RFK and as a Brad fan, as you see him in the RFK, like prototype, like first edition shit. Like it's cool seeing Priest, right? Like I think this is one of those like passing the torch years to like, all right, Priest is going to be your guy for a number of years. He qualified in the front row, unreal speed. Where the hell is Derek Finley getting that speed in the same building as the 6 car? I don't understand what's going on. But RFK looked like they were going to finish maybe all 3 cars in the top 10. It looked like it was going to be one of those days for him. Then that wheel kind of threw a whole wrench in the 6 works, and then the 17 and the 60 seemed to just kind of not seem to make adjustments with the racetracks. They kind of fell to where they fell to, but strong showing until it wasn't, I guess.
Yeah, and then Reddick was having issues. He had a brake pedal was having a lot of travel, and along with the long pedal for the throttle. So he was battling that pretty much all race, feeling like he couldn't get on the brakes how he wanted to. He couldn't get on the throttle how he wanted to. Then Kyle Larson ended up coming back out after being 165 laps down, and towards the end of the race, with less than 5 laps to go, Tyler Reddick had a beautiful pit strategy. The team of the 45 team did an amazing call. He was leading with 40, 50 laps to go. I couldn't tell because HBO Max decided to glitch out. For 15, 20 laps, it was saying that William Byron, Bell, Hamlin, Reddick with 56 to go. But the audio, the spotter, was saying, oh, you got 45 laps to go, 45 to go. Like, keep going. I'm like, but what? Something's not right here. Like, what's going on? And then, like, it took the telemetry away. And then I was like, So I went on the app. I was like, okay, it says that we have 40 to go, but the HBO Max is still stuck at 56. This is really weird. And then as soon as I was going to send a video to Aaron, it refreshed and was up going. I was like, what? And then it, like, everything went black again. And I'm like, come on, man. Like, I just paid $10. So therefore I didn't have to watch the same Sonic ads and the same Goodyear ads and the same, whatever, every 5 seconds, because that's what Fox does, apparently. So it was very frustrating because I didn't know if Reddick was the leader. I didn't know what was going on. I had to really pay attention on what they were saying. And, especially with how you can hear the car, because last year what I would do is I would actually watch it on my PC. I would have the broadcast up in one corner, so therefore I could see what they're talking about. I didn't have the audio on. I just would see what they were talking about. I would have the visual of Tyler Reddick's car, and I would have that muted of the car, but I would have the scanner, so therefore I could listen to the scanner. I know that's kind of sounded weird. HBO Max says fuck that. You're going to listen to the car audio. You're going to listen to everything. So it's very hard to kind of hear what they're saying at some points when the engine is revving really, really loud. So I couldn't tell what we were doing. I was like, are we the leader? Are we not the leader? Like, what's going on? And sure enough, we were the leader. Blaney, who pitted a few laps later, worked his way through the field and looked like it was going to be between Reddick and Blaney. Reddick kept getting into the wall in 3 and 4, just losing speed because of that. Blaney ended up catching him, put him under pressure, put Reddick under pressure enough where Reddick came off turn 2 and absolutely smashed the outside wall. I'm surprised that the toe length and the right front did not break because he hit it hard. Caution comes out because Larson ends up spinning again. And yeah, then we had a green, white, checkered. And that's when I texted you. I was like, I hate NASCAR. It's like football season. Like, I'm like, I hate football. I hate NASCAR. And you're the same boat, but at least my guy's finishing the top 5 and your guy's finishing, 31st. So
33rd.
Yeah. So, Hamlin ends up getting a really good launch, and seals the deal, wins back to back. He won Martinsville last week, wins this week in the Carl Edwards throwback, which was pretty awesome. Yeah, I mean, what did you think of the last few laps? What did you think? Did you think it was going to be between Reddick, Blaney, or What would you think?
I got a couple points to make. One being you talking about the thing glitching on HBO Max, and that reminded me of a point of there wasn't Wi-Fi or internet on pit road for a good part of this race. I think only a few teams had it. I think the 11 team never lost internet. I heard reports of that on the broadcast, but they were saying that a lot of pit road. I know the six car, we didn't have telemetry, we didn't have really anything. So much so that Brad was asking, the war room, what do you got? Like, where am I getting beat? Can you tell telemetry? And I'm gonna go on a limb and say that's why stage one was pretty good and pretty fun because like, yes, Byron ran out to like a billion-second lead, but in the pack, like Brad was competitive. I was able to see the ebb and flow of how the race went. There was comers and goers. There was guys that were just missing the corner. And it was cool that there was just no telemetry being talked to by any cars, or at least a majority of them. So it kind of was a throwback weekend in the sense of like people with stopwatches, when's the car going by. So I thought that was like an interesting thing. Almost reminded me of the Bills Chargers back in the day where they lost power in Buffalo and they went by just stopwatches in their hands and the referees just said play on with no TV, no nothing. But I think that had something to do with it, right? Because you have guys that would ask their team. You have younger guys that key up the mic and say, "Where is Larson lifting? Where is he, what's his corner looking like?" And they said, "Well, he's doing this line, but we don't know what he's doing with his pedals." So that's cool. That brings back the art of beat people just being better. So that was awesome. I appreciated hearing that. So but yeah, the last couple laps, right? So I kind of also listening to BK. He was numbers of laps down and we were kind of being pricks to you guys,
I,
and not letting you guys go.
yeah, I was gonna bring that up. I was like, man, I really hope he brings it up because I didn't want to bring it up. Brad Keselowski can go. Brad Keselowski's an ass. Okay.
No, see, it's no. See, here's the thing. Get fucked and fuck Toyota because I saw what he was like. Yeah, like he's like, just make him earn it. Don't give it to him. Just make him earn it. And I think Priest let you guys go. I think Priest kind of pulled over pretty quick. I think Blaney might have got you guys a little sooner if Priest wasn't such a nice guy. Um, but I kind of felt a little bad. I was expecting to see a text from you that's like, fuck Brad. I was expecting to see that. I checked my phone. I was like, oh,
You're
yeah,
lucky
fuck
because
you.
I had barbecue sauce all over my fingers because I was enjoying my ribs. But I was like, yeah, I was like, Brad, get the fuck out of the way. You're 4 laps down. Get out of the way.
Sorry, man. We got to wait for our Blaney boy in the Ford to catch up. And that's the thing, right? Is Blaney, that just is one of those crappy things similar to the league race. RNG. You just get a bad stop. Something happens, your stop is a several tenths slower than somebody else's, and it's like, wow, we were the best car. I on paper should have passed this guy with 5 to go, and now no, there's no hope. So congrats to Denny. If Brad's not in it, or if any of my other guys aren't in it, I want Denny to win the championship. The dude's deserved it. I mean, he can have his main character syndrome. I'm kind of like I said, if my other guys don't do it, so I'm happy for Denny. Um, Kind of scary though because if that 11 team catches fire, they could just be awesome. But this sport is a lot of bad luck, so we'll see what happens next time we come to Darlington. We'll see if 11's able to keep the same kind of pace.
Yeah, I mean, Denny Hamlin with a new crew chief for the year, and they're really firing on all cylinders. But one thing I wanted to bring up because I wanted to argue with this, you were mad at me because Tyler Reddick got into Chris Buescher last year and Brad Keselowski won, and something that popped up in my Instagram reels just moments before the race was Tyler Reddick trying to get his first ever win at Bristol Motor Speedway. Chris Buescher comes and flies in on the last corner, last lap, wrecks both of them. Kyle Busch wins. Do you remember that? You remember that?
I do not.
Okay,
I do
so
not.
That happened, and Chris Buescher came up to, or not Chris Buescher, Chase Briscoe. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Chase Briscoe wrecked Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick was going for his first win, dominated the race. Chase Briscoe wrecked him. Kyle Busch wins the race. Chase Briscoe comes up and apologizes while Tyler Reddick was getting interviewed. Tyler Reddick was like, "Hey man, I would have done the same thing. It's okay, we're good." And this is where Chris Buescher and Chase Briscoe kind of fade a little bit. Do a little reverse card, a little Uno reverse, because Chris Buescher looked like he was gonna bully my little man. Okay. And looking at the video you sent me, yes, Tyler Reddick got into it, but he was loose anyways. He got in the wall before.
Trying to get around him.
No,
Not even.
But Chris Buescher got in the wall twice before Tyler Reddick hit him.
Because he saw that, holy shit, Tyler sent it in like a retard. I better not have him just kill me. Oh, guess what? Ends up killing me.
You know what he should have done? Let off the throttle, hit a little brake, watch the 45 hit the wall, do a little crossover, see you later, bye.
Oh, easier said than done, Chico. Come on. You're defending a dive bomb that he pancaked him into the wall. It's okay. It's okay.
Hey,
all right.
You know what?
I didn't know anything about Buescher and them at Bristol, though.
Yeah. And speaking of Bristol, that's next week. Bristol being as you call it, a blender, so to say. What are your thoughts? What do you think they're gonna do? Or do you think they're gonna do a soft tire option like they did with Martinsville, or are they gonna stick with a hard tire? And who do you got winning?
Oh man, see that's the thing is I heard Goodyear come out and say, was it last week, that there's no more option tire the rest of the season. But that's not to say that the compound for the Bristol tire isn't just going to be softer anyway, because they went back to the lab in the off season, and from what I heard, and they tried to redo that formula. So it's kind of, we'll see. Hoping for a tire wear fest, because when that place is a tire wear fest, it can be really, really fun. It's really hard to hop off the C Bell train. I mean, that's a dude that can win at that place at any given time. Reddick, as much as I hate to say it, he's one of those guys that is going to be fast. He's going to qualify in the top 10. We'll be there all day. You're shaking your head. Why is this?
Because we went back to the fall race, and Tyler Reddick finished like 27th because he sucked. He sucked. So, unless he puts in the sim time, Tyler Reddick.
That's crazy.
I will be rooting for him because he's my driver, but I expect him to finish 25th or worse.
Was that when the tire was falling apart?
Maybe. I can't remember because I was probably working that night. So, but I remember he was struggling. And I mean, Kyle Larson is one that is probably going to be one of the fastest. Yeah. Denny Hamlin,
Byron for sure.
Denny Hamlin. One guy I think Logano is probably going to be really good too. One guy that I don't think is going to be good. That's kind of like flown under the radar of like being very, very shitty, and I think it's just because his name and how popular he is. Chase Elliott. I think he's gonna maybe top 10, but I mean, where did he finish today? Like top 15. Yeah, exactly.
Let's see here. Like he's not notable.
He's been very like under the radar of how shitty he's been. He's kind of up there with Bowman's actually doing better than Chase Elliott.
Elliott finished 8th somehow.
Yeah, and the Bowman had some mechanical issues, got in the wall. Or something.
Bowman had mechanical.
So, but
Blaney finished 5th. Buescher 6th. Chastain 7th. Quiet 7th place for Chastain, by the way.
Yeah.
Elliott 8th. Ty Gibbs, he needed that and finished P9. Kyle Busch needed a top 10 really bad. He finished P10. Cindric 11th. Zane Smith 12th. That's what I'm saying. Zane Smith, like those weird guys. Zane Smith, Justin Haley. Every now and again, host of our Ty Dillon. You get these guys that just somehow hit it right on the setup, and it's like, how? Then you got Logano in 13th. You have Gilliland 14th, Suarez 15th, Ty Dillon 16th, Eric Jones 17th, Allmendinger 18th, Gregson 19th, SVG 20th. So,
yeah, kind of a weird finishing order. And one thing that I hope that NASCAR looks into is they get rid of the sharing data. I don't like that. Like, if Kyle Larson is ungodly everywhere, let him be ungodly. Let him have the ability to know what he's doing. If Denny Hamlin is figuring out how to run a certain lane, let him learn that certain lane and be fast. Don't let these guys. You want to be fast. You know how you're going to be fast. NASCAR needs to give you more practice time, and you guys need to go in and do sim work. Okay, I mean, I'm giving an example. I spent how many? I spent 2 days on sim work and working on Texas, because Texas was probably my worst, one of my worst tracks, and I finished 10th, but I should have finished in the top three if not won the race. Um, I think NASCAR needs to, next year say, hey, look, we're going to take this sharing data away, but we're going to give you more practice time. If you don't want to practice, by all means, don't practice. That's on you. I mean, no one can blame the practice except you. So, I think that's what they need to do. I think they need to do an hour long practice, hour and 30-minute practice. Let these guys, you know, run the laps, and take the sharing data away. If you want to talk about sharing data, like, the only time you need to talk about it is when you're in a team meeting, you're in an affiliate meeting, or you're in the NASCAR hauler saying this guy intentionally wrecked this person. Like, that's the
Yeah.
only time that somebody should be looking at it. Like, because we don't even get it with with iRacing. You know,
No.
so we don't. I don't even think like F1 or IndyCar or any other series
Yeah.
does that. So it's
it, it,
it's
it hampers something too. Like, I don't mean to cut you off, but it hampers the setup building aspect, because what everyone does is they'll watch what Larson does. Say, oh, what's Larson's telemetry? Okay, we can figure out how to make the car react to those inputs. Okay, we'll just make Larson's car, and there's no passing because no one's trying to be better. They're just trying to be whoever the number one is. They're trying to clone themselves off the number one car, as opposed to coming up with crazy shit to just be fast and not know if it's fast or not. Like, that is a very insane point with the parity of this new car. If everyone's trying to put themselves, okay, Larson lifts here and he's on the gas here, those guys are smart enough to figure out what suspension you need to do that. And then, okay, so everyone's running Larson times. Okay, great, but Larson will just, because he's a good driver, will just make it that little tenth better by his own nature, and that's where they'll win. So I'm
yeah,
with you. Stop sharing data, give them more practice.
that's what they need to do. Everybody complains like, oh, practice is just going to make everybody really really tighter, and not be able to pass. Then take away the sharing data. I think that's going to give them more practice. Take away the sharing data. That's going to have, instead of them like this, they're gonna be like this. It's gonna spread the field out. You're gonna actually have to, like, oh, like, hey, like, we practiced for my car to be loose, and now with the track temperature, and now there's a cloud, covering 1 and 2. Now it's doing this. It's a long run. The tires are wearing it unequally. There's so much stuff that could go into it, and they need to get rid of it. I mean, Mark Martin on Door Bummer Clear did an amazing job explaining that, and they need to get rid of it.
Yeah, I'm that could save the sport essentially, because we don't know what this next gen car race is like without sharing data. I'm pretty sure. I'm thinking those came out at the same time because everyone was just behind on, like, okay, how do we make this thing work in a circle? So, okay, we figured out how to make it work in a circle. Now stop sharing it. Just to your point of, yeah, it could save the sport, man. With how these cars drive as badly as they do, and everyone's setting them up just to run the same as whoever it was the last time they were there. Oh, Larson had this telemetry last time we were here. Okay, great. We're going to go based on that, maybe a few changes. Okay, great. Now you're running the exact same time as everybody else. But if you didn't have Larson's data, you can go out and say, okay, Kyle Busch, what do you think you need to be fast here? Okay, I think I need this. I think I need this. Then you might get lucky and strike some crazy setup in this thing. No one's going out of the box here. Everyone's being very close, very safe. And the only reason that people are starting to wreck or have issues is just because the car just drives like crap. It has nothing to do with setups. It just has everything to do with the physics of this car itself.
Agreed, and hopefully they get it right. Like I said, next week Bristol. I think all three series is there. Me and you are getting ready for the NIS race at Darlington. So you could check that out on Derek Geo2 on Twitch and Aaron Bond Racing on Twitch. But next week, for me, I'm doing the Rockingham races for the Mystic Racing League. I might do the Bristol race. I don't really know. Bristol race, I was second for the 500 miler. But that's what I'm doing this coming week. What about you, partner?
Probably gonna do, man, I don't know. Probably to see what iRacing has to offer. I probably will do the truck race. I believe I work Thursday night, so I don't know if I'll be able to make the Grand National Series. But I would like to make the truck race and just see what ARCA is at and just see what's happening on iRacing in terms of series I don't race too often. And yeah, I'm not really too sure, man. Looking forward to the NAS tonight though. I like Darlington. It rewards knowledge, rewards discipline. So I'm excited to stream that. Hopefully we can finish in the top 10. That'd be a nice ending to the night.
All right. Well, that's gonna be it for the 645 show. Here with Aaron Baum and Derek Jewett. As always, thank you to Non-Typical Designs being the sponsor. Again, be on the lookout for that raffle. We'll have more information about that. Check us out on Twitter. Check us out on Instagram, Spotify, YouTube. But yeah, check me out on all social media platforms at Derek Jewett too. Aaron, you could check him out on Twitter for Aaron Baum Racing and Twitch. Yeah. What else you want to throw in there? Any 2 cents?
That's all I really got, man. Looking forward to an off week. In terms of just next Sunday, there not really being anything. Is that wait? No, I was talking about for the Easter break. That'll be nice. But in the meantime, just gonna be hanging out, streaming what we can, see what we can do tonight. If you want to catch us, we'll both probably be still in Discord racing the same race, so you can hang out with both of us. Like he said, Aaron Baum Racing on Twitch and Twitter. And road to 5K is still on, so we'll see how fast we can get to that.
Yeah, and like I said last week, and I'll keep reminding everybody, we're gonna be doing some things here in a couple weeks. I'll be on vacation, so we might be missing a stream. We might be having to move it to a different day. But yeah, and we might figure something out. But I'll be at the race in Kansas here in a few weeks, so we'll go from there. As always, take care of yourself, take care of others. We'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.